Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Savannah CHRISLEY's Spewers sister Lindsay. We're no longer family, lose our last name. Savannah CHRISLEY is unlocking her truth. The trailer for the 27-year-old and her family's new reality series, The CHRISLEYs, Back to Reality, dropped on Thursday, in which she highlights the estrangement between their brood. The Lifetime show, which premieres on September 1, will follow Savannah, her parents, Todd and Julie, and two of her brothers, Chase, Grayson, and Chloe, whom Todd and Julie adopted in 2016. Nanny Faye will also be back, along with Julie's parents, Harvey and Pam Hughes. The project will highlight Todd, 56, and Julie, 52, navigating life after they are eventually pardoned, released from prison, and return home. And they are not holding back. In the 5-minute trailer, the CHRISLEYs detail having their own family members betray them. The prosecutor read the letter Lindsay wrote to the FBI. "We're no longer family, lose our last name," Savannah said of her older sister. "I mean, if your own blood will screw you over, then a stranger definitely will," Chase, 29, added. "This family's been torn apart. Because it was always like this, and now it's like this," Nanny Faye explained. Todd and Julie were indicted in 2019, with federal prosecutors accusing them of submitting fake documents to banks in order to garner more than $30 million in loans. In 2022, the couple was found guilty of bank fraud and tax evasion. Todd received a 12-year prison sentence, while Julie was sentenced to 7 years. The pair has maintained their innocence. "With my parents gone, our household is completely divided," Savannah said in the trailer. "I told my parents I don't know if it can ever be repaired honestly." Despite Lindsay, 35, being on the outs with her family, she gave a subtle nod to her dad and stepmom after it was announced they were being pardoned by President Donald Trump in May. Lindsay, whom Todd shares with his first wife, Teresa Terry, wrote on her Instagram stories, "With God, all things are possible." The podcast host previously starred alongside her family in 20 episodes of their 10-season reality show, CHRISLEY Knows Best. Last month, Lindsay revealed she decided to drop her surname and go by her boyfriend's last name instead. After eagle-eyed fans noticed the mom of one changed her name on Instagram to Lindsay Landsman, she detailed the reason why. "For a long time, I very much battled with carrying my maiden last name, and with me carrying that last name came public association," she explained to listeners on her Southern Tea podcast. Lindsay added that the popular moniker came with assumptions of all different kinds, weight that I truly feel like I never asked for. And I do think it's fair to say that contrary to what some people believe, the CHRISLEY last name, while it did start with CHRISLEY Knows Best, and we all collectively were doing that project together, outside of that last name did not create income or opportunity for me, she continued. Lindsay admitted the last name became very problematic with me being associated, in any capacity, in business, and has been problematic for projects that I have done post CHRISLEY Knows Best. Now the star is going by a name that feels right. "You know, the big question is, are David and I married? And we are not married," expressed Lindsay. "I feel that it is fair to say that he and I built a safe and loving relationship that allows for stability in my life and in Jackson's life. And in this chapter, that name feels like home to me." This isn't the first time, however, that the CHRISLEY's drama has played out publicly. In 2023, Lindsay gave insight into her fractured relationship with Todd and Julie. "There were some rumors that went around after our last podcast episode that the reason that I have not seen Julie was because she doesn't want to see me, and that is just untrue," she said on her podcast. "Finally, I have been able to communicate over her prison's form of email for the first time, but also her email is very delayed. Dad's is very different. You can send him an email and you will hear back within maybe 2 hours." A year later, Lindsay confessed that her relationship with Savannah is nothing. It's mind-blowing to me, the control and manipulation. It very much alarms me, and I'm just going to leave it at that. With tension, and not even the glossy filters of social media could smooth it over. In a bombshell move that sent shockwaves through the CHRISLEY fandom, Savannah CHRISLEY took to Instagram live with the kind of fiery honesty usually reserved for courtroom testimonies and family therapy sessions. Her target, her estranged sister Lindsay. Clad in a sharp black blazer and minimal makeup, her signature, no time for nonsense look, Savannah opened with a deep breath and a chilling smile. "I wasn't going to do this," she began. "But I'm done pretending. I'm done protecting people who don't protect us. Lindsay, we're no longer family, and honestly, lose our last name." Gasps echoed across the internet. The youngest CHRISLEY daughter, who had become a surrogate matriarch in the wake of Todd and Julie's incarceration, had dropped the hammer, and she wasn't done. "Blood doesn't make you loyal," Savannah continued. "Actions do. And your actions have shown the world exactly who you are. Someone who cashes in on family pain and betrayal. You've used our name, our struggles, and our silence to build a platform for pity and podcasts." The gloves were off. It wasn't the first time the sisters had clashed publicly. Years of rumors, cryptic posts, podcast digs, and passive-aggressive interviews had hinted at a fractured relationship. But no one expected Savannah to go nuclear until now. "This isn't about differences," Savannah said, mocking the word with air quotes. "This is about character." While mom and dad sat in a cell, praying for grace and survival, you were out there giving interviews, calling yourself a victim, spinning your story as if you were some innocent bystander. You weren't. You were the match that lit the fuse. Savannah didn't mince words as thousands tuned in. "You want to talk about healing and growth? Start by telling the truth. Start by admitting what you did to this family. You called the feds. You talked to reporters. You tried to sever ties not just emotionally, but legally. So don't cry on your podcast now and say you miss us. You made sure there was nothing left to miss." She paused to sip water, just long enough for the comments to explode in real time. "Tell her, Savannah. Preach. Lindsay who? This is justice." The anger, though raw, was calculated. Savannah wasn't spiraling. She was seizing control of a narrative she felt had slipped too far from the truth. And she wasn't just addressing her sister. She was speaking to the world that had watched their family unravel. "You're not a CHRISLEY," she said with a cold glare into the camera. "You gave up that right when you chose tabloids over truth, betrayal over bravery. I've carried this family on my back. I've raised Chloe. I've fought to keep our name clean, to give us a second chance. Meanwhile, you sold your soul for podcast sponsorships and 5 minutes of fame. Then came the mic drop moment. I'll make it easy for you. Go to the courthouse and change your name. Drop CHRISLEY. It clearly doesn't mean anything to you. So why carry the burden of something you tried so hard to destroy?" It wasn't just a sibling feud. It was a formal severing of ties, delivered with all the elegance and finality of a courtroom decree. Savannah ended the live with a stare that could pierce stone. "I wish you peace. I wish you clarity. But I wish you away from us. We're rebuilding. And there's no place for betrayal in this new chapter." As she clicked off the stream, the internet erupted. Twitter was ablaze with hashtags like #SavannahSpeaks, #NotMeSister, and #CHRISLEY no more. Commentators on YouTube uploaded reaction videos within minutes. Even former reality stars chimed in with their own spicy takes. And while Lindsay's camp remained silent in the immediate aftermath, sources close to her said she was devastated and blindsided. But Savannah's supporters weren't buying the victim narrative. This wasn't some impulsive rant, one follower posted. "Savannah's been holding this in for years." And maybe that was the real story. The years of quiet endurance, of shouldering grief, pain, and public scrutiny, while someone she once called sister twisted the knife again and again behind the scenes. Todd and Julie, still adjusting to life outside of prison, reportedly watched the live stream from their Nashville home, nodding in solidarity. A source close to the couple said, "Todd's proud of Savannah. It's about time someone called Lindsay out publicly. She said her piece, and they stand behind her." Chloe, the young girl at the center of much of Savannah's responsibility, was said to be shielded from the blowback. But fans couldn't help but wonder, what must it feel like for her to watch the family fracture so publicly again?